Aloha, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of Omens. I'm JayDreamerZ. Good to see you all today. I want to say thank you. I got this this sweatshirt from one of you, actually, from one of my subscribers. I love getting things in the mail. If you have something that you'd like to send to me, my P.O. box is on my my posts tab on my main channel. Just go ahead and click on that and you'll find the P.O. box there. And I get letters, I get stuff that people send, trinkets, interesting things all the time, and I love it. One of my favorite things to do is to have my son check that, and it just blows his mind. So thank you guys so much for your support. Also check out my Patreon. I'm getting ready to do the next credits for next month, so if you'd like to see your name on the credits and you want to support my work that way, jump over to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/JayDreamerZ. What else? Hold on, let me check the chat. Make sure you guys can hear me, see me okay. High fives to everybody. Hold on, let me bring up the screen sharing here. I have a lot of stories to cover today, and I want to say thank you so much to whoever recommended the movie The Life of Chuck. Damn, I was on empty for a while. Like I couldn't find, there was no good movies or anything, and then somebody recommended that, and I'm inspired to come back to doing the Truth in Movies episodes, and we might just start there. And I might actually go over In the Tall Grass one more time too, because damn, that was a good one. But yeah, The Life of Chuck. All right, cool. Yes, let me get my screen pulled up here, and we'll start the show. Oh, and everybody's been sharing my work too. Like, even there's a lot of big channels that have been sharing a lot of my shorts. Feel free to share those shorts. That's why I'm making them. Hold on, let's see here. Let me do this one. Let's see if this works. There they are. There's the chat. What's up, everybody? High fives. All right, cool. Let's jump right into things. These are your omens for an upcoming apocalypse. That's my area of focus, okay? I believe that the apocalypse connects everything. Okay, the apocalypse is the grand unified conspiracy theory. It ties together neatly everything from the very beginning to the very end, which is also the very beginning. It's cyclical. So these are the types of omens that we should be on the lookout for. Some of these have been prophesied. Well, all of these have been prophesied, and some of them are happening now. The Earth pulsates every 26 seconds. No one knows why. No one knows why. You know, another way to say no one is nobody. You'll notice that they say that a lot in the movies. They'll call people nobody. They'll say, I'm nobody. And that actually comes from an ancient myth and some ancient legends where a man was trapped in a cave with a cyclops, and the cyclops asked him what his name was, and he said nobody. Also, Nemo. Nemo means no one, nobody. That's why you'll hear the name Nemo pop up time and time again. If you look up the root of Nemo, it's Nem-U, which means of the leftovers, which implies the survivors of the apocalypse, the victors, the victory, the ones with the victory, or the Nike, over the apocalypse itself, which is the ultimate manifestation of tribulation and trials and whatnot, right? Anyways, in the story, the hero pokes out the Cyclops' only eye, and the Cyclops runs out and he's screaming, and all his giant buddies are asking him, who did this to you? And he said, nobody, nobody. It's a age-old story. But anyways, no one knows why. Nobody. The Nemo, the leftovers. You. The tribe, the lost tribe of the Tree of Life. You know why. Okay? The Earth is pulsating every 26 seconds, according to this. I know why the Earth pulsates. It says maybe you can solve this strange seismic mystery. Can you? What do you think? I'm going to actually jump in the chat right now. I want to see, I'm eager to see what your answers are. I want to see if you're thinking the same thing that I'm thinking. Lex138, what's up, bro? I see you in the chat. Jason Leisure. Chloe says, poor Nemo. Game of Thrones says Justin Thomas. Let's see. Anybody have an idea of why the Earth might be pulsating every 26 seconds, according to this article? I'd like to see your ideas. I know you guys are about 10 seconds behind the live stream. You can always click forward to try to catch up if you feel like you're too far behind. My live streams are almost always about 7 to 10 seconds You're 7 to 10 seconds behind me. All right, so we got Eddie Knows. What's up, Eddie? Says the Earth is pulsating because it's getting ready to erupt. Damn, you took the words right out of my mouth, Eddie. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's getting ready to give birth. DT Fresh says, Jay, a living heartbeat. Yes, obviously, right? Mother Earth has a pulse, says David Levi. That's why it's pulsating. Matt Crane says the Earth's heartbeat. She's alive, says Amber Roy. You guys are making me smile, man. Yes, everybody's on the breathing, says Janelle. I couldn't agree with you more. The Earth's heartbeat, Java Lang. Everyone, yeah, birthing contractions. That's a good one too. By Myreed Laybourne. What's up, Flatman B? Welcome to my channel. All right, let's move on. So it's very obvious to those of us who know and understand Mother Earth that this is the breath, this is the cycle, this is the heartbeat, this is evidence of the living Earth that we live in and on, because we're alive too. We're a part of the Earth. All right, next up, Burning Man. Hold on, let me fix this. I like to get this so it fits in here. After Saturday's dust storms, Burning Man's bad luck continued. All of the stuff that is happening at Burning Man, to me, is an omen, because the Burning Man itself represents the man of fire, the first spirit man, the Adam Kadmon, you know, from Kabbalistic traditions and stuff. It is the blue beam that shoots up out of Mount Meru and separates, holding up the sky, or growing wings, or aurora-like wings, with its legs bent downwards over the Garden of Eden. That is the Burning Man. So we've got dust storms. Why is that relevant? Because when the apocalypse comes and people see that sign, that burning man, that man of light, that phoenix, that thunderbird, etc., shooting up from the center of the world at the North Pole, there will be windstorms, and they will blow all of the world's dust, all of the world's sand, all of the things that are loose on the surface, and that figure will be known, or come to be known, or associated with a myth that we now call the Sandman. The man that sprinkles sand in your eyes and people fall asleep. They're not falling asleep, they're passing out because of the atmospheric depressurization and sheer fear of the apocalypse itself. Okay, when people see the Sandman, which is the Burning Man, then we get all the sand kicking up into the atmosphere. You have a lot of oxygen introduced into the atmosphere from the geoplasmas from within the Earth that are releasing the inner Earth, or the hollow Earth buildup of oxygen from massive plants that are growing down there. And that oxygen oxidizes the dirt, and it turns red. And we have red dust and red dirt and red debris all over the whole entire world. And that's why all of your apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic movies have that sort of orange-red filter on them, because they know. Let's see. Let me jump back. Hold on. Let me see. Anybody got anything in the chat? Remember the lithium, says Sarah Smith. Thank you. I have no idea what that means. But thank you. All right, cool. Let's jump back in here. So we talked about the heartbeat of the Earth. We talked about the symbolism of the Burning Man, a.k.a. the Sandman. Let's see. Let me fix that up. Are you using an ad blocker? Yes, I am. Fertility. Fertility rates hit a record low in England, Scotland, and Wales. A record low. The fertility rates fell to 1.41 in England in 2024, while Scottish rates were at 1.25. What does that mean? That means the movies are coming true. There's many different movies where television shows, movies. The Handmaid's Tale is one that comes to mind. Children of Men come to mind. They show you that the world's population, the quote-unquote perceived right to reproduce, will be stripped away from humanity. And they're trying to convince you all these billions of people across the world are just choosing. They're so intelligent. They sit down and they write up diagrams and charts and stuff as to when and why they should have children or should not have children. And they're so proud to be single. And no, they're not. I'm telling you right now, they're not. They're still out there in the act of making children. Okay? They're not choosing anything. What does that mean? That means populations are going to start dwindling. Meanwhile, Artificial robots, humanoid robots, are going to be on the rise, which means that soon the humanoid robots will outnumber you. This one says Yosemite feels the burn of an understaffed summer. Yosemite, a lot of these national parks are becoming understaffed. I'm just going to share this with you. They don't need a staff. Okay? They will soon be under a staff. A staff is a symbol of power, a rod, a walking stick, a wizard's, wand or whatever you call that, a wizard. What do they have? Poles? It's all the same stuff. It's the blue beam, right? That comes up out of the earth. The many different ones, but the largest one at the center of the world. They'll be under a staff. And it's the ancient letter Lamed. Anyways, my point here is pretty soon all the national parks and all the world will be understaffed. There will be nobody to claim it except for the survivors, the Nemo, the Nem, the victors, the leftovers, right? That's coming. Nature will reclaim the earth. I promise you that. The animals will be in charge first. The humans will be freaking out. Feeble, scared, terrified, curious, cautious. But pretty soon, we'll come up out of the caves and the cracks and stuff, and, the cycle will start again. Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel. Flap was not about being woke. If you don't know what this is about, the quote-unquote woke people of the world, which is crazy because that word initially meant something entirely different, and then it was like hijacked by other people. I used to use the word woke. I liked it. I liked it as a concept, to like being open-minded. No. That word was hijacked and stolen and taken to mean something that means the exact opposite as being awake or woke. Anyways, Cracker Barrel wanted to change its logo. Why would they do that? Because times are changing. You can't say cracker anymore. There's no such thing as a cracker. If you eat a cracker, aka a crispy biscuit or salty cookie or whatever, you're a racist now, apparently. Okay? That's happening a lot in this world, right? I could not believe it when they went and erased some of the most iconic logos of like my childhood, claiming that they represent racism, and they just represent, you're a racist. You're a racist if you enjoy some good old Aunt Jemima. I still call it Aunt Jemima. I get her confused with Mrs. Buttersworth all the time. The Redskins football team. Yeah, Indians, red people with red skin. The fuck is a problem? Excuse my language, but sorry. There's no problem there. That's what, if you can say black people and you can say white people, you can't say red people? Then we got Uncle Ben. What's the problem with this? I don't get it. Is he supposed to be, did someone say Uncle Ben is a slave? Is that what the problem is? I never knew he was a slave, is he? He's just the black dude that makes the awesome white rice. You know what I mean? Probably can't even call it white rice anymore. The Braves. What is wrong with the Braves? I mean, I don't really care about baseball and sports anymore. But Braves. You can't. Oh, it's appropriation. You're appropriating. You're not a brave. You can't be brave. You can't be a brave with a tomahawk. You know what I mean? Well, are they gonna cancel Halloween soon? Is that next? Are you guys gonna cancel Halloween for us because we're appropriating everything, essentially? Spick and span. This one cracks me up. If this is seriously, people think that it's a play on what sometimes Latinos are referred to as. That's mind-blowing because it's got nothing to do with it. It's cleaning supplies. Okay, I can see the connection if you want to make one. Bob's Big Boy. I love this mascot. Oh, but he's a fat dude, right? Oh, can't do that. He's holding up a big burger. Oh, he's a fat guy at a restaurant. Oh, you can't have that. They replaced Bob's Big Boy with some skinny, weird-looking cartoon chick. I don't even know if they call it Big Boy anymore. Land O'Lakes with an Indian princess chick right here holding the butter. Oh, that's terrible. Is it terrible because she's missing her legs? Like maybe if they put a sign like how homeless people have, and that would be more modern. Would that be more modern? If they put her on the side of the road on the freeway and she had a sign saying anything helps, or I'm hungry, or something, because she's missing her legs. Anyways, and then what was this one? I don't know, more Indian stuff. They're Indians? Is that literally what they're called? Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, that's the world we live in today. Nothing is... You can't say a damn thing, okay? Unless you speak Newspeak, which is 1984 Orwellian. You can't say anything about anything. 1 minute, please. Jace! Come here! Hold on to this. If your mom calls, go ahead and answer it. Okay. Thank you. Anyways, you can't say anything. You got to learn the lingo, right? And if you don't learn the lingo, you're a criminal. Which is, you're not just a criminal, you're evil. You're a bad person. You're a racist. You're a hateful, what are the, hate speech. Hate speech? Oh my God. I hate the whole world. Like, I hate everything and everybody, like, so much and so often. That's why I'm an apocalyptimist. I can't wait for the apocalypse to come and wash it all away, suck it all up, and renew it and refresh it. I don't like any of it, with exception, okay? Don't get me wrong. Obviously, there's beauty in the world. But I'm not blind, okay? I'm perceptive. I can focus and see the beauty and appreciate it and take a deep breath and be grounded for a moment before the whole cyclone of psychotic crazy people blows my direction. Let me see what everybody in the chat's saying. Oh, sitting Indian style. Nice one. Yeah, you can't do that. Oh, she lost her canoe? Okay, I'm going to come back and check out the chat after this episode. All right, so let's see. We talked about fertility rates. We talked about nature reclaiming. We talked about how you can't say Cracker Barrel or Mrs. Buttersworth or any of that fun stuff that it used to be from when I was a kid. Volcanoes are in the news a lot. Often. All the time these days, right? Why? Because they're erupting a lot. They're erupting bigger and badder and stronger all over the place. I know you see it in the news. The volcanoes are everywhere. Volcano alert. The signal that could transform disaster prevention. So just the volcanoes being in the news so much is an omen. This right here is an article that says the world's volcanoes are waking up. And they're erupting pure technology. I don't care about the technology portion of this. I care about the gases that are being released from the hollow earth right now as it goes through electromagnetic fluctuations, which are releasing those gases up into the surface, causing sinkholes and volcanoes to go off, and massive earthquakes like never seen before, and liquefaction, and earthquake lights as those gases ionize and become plasmas in the atmosphere, and spontaneous combustions all over the place, which are causing massive wildfires in areas that are known to have cavernous systems that go deep into the earth. This one says, is it a comet or an alien spacecraft? Here's what one Harvard scientist says. Now, there's an object, they say, to me it's a light, it's a luminary, until proven otherwise, called 3-Eye Atlas. Let me show you something first. I didn't even plan on doing this, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw you a picture of why they chose this name for this particular object, okay? 3-Eye Atlas. Let me draw you this, okay? I'm going to show you exactly why they call it 3-Eye Atlas, all right? First, let's fill this in with black. Boom, boom, boom. Now, as you know, I study and teach Paleo-Hebrew, the alphabet at the very least, and therefore Phoenician, because they're the exact same language, basically. Let me change this to blue, because that's more appropriate. Now, the Roman numeral 3 is drawn like this. That is the firmament. This is the ground. 3 beams, anode, cathode, Mount Meru. That's the Roman numeral 3. Why do we associate that with 3? Because when you look northwards, In the age to come and in the prior age, you have one gigantic light that shoots from the middle of the world. It is flanked by an anode and a cathode volcanic system that shoot up their own little beams. These act as the witnesses, the lampstands, the candelabras, trees, whatever you want to say. There's always a male and a female, usually, or they're twins on either side. They're the witnesses to the coming of the healing light source right there in the middle. Okay, so that's how we get the number 3. That's the Holy Trinity. That is the triune power source at the center of the world that people see. Now, if you turn this sideways, it's the ancient number 8, actually, and it's called Chet. But I don't want to get too far off track. Where was I going with that? Number 3. What was the article about? I lost track of my mind here. Let's see, what were we talking about? I was going to draw the number 3. Oh yeah, the comet. Oh, it's not a comet. I don't know if it's a comet or not, but they call it Comet 3I Atlas. All right, cool. Let me jump back to my drawing. So 3I Atlas. So these are 3 eyes. Bam, bam, bam. This automatically talks about and references the North Pole. Okay? Good. Atlas. Now, I'm going to show you Atlas. Here is the firmament. Here is the ground. Atlas is the middle beam that shoots up out of the Garden of Eden, out of Hyperborea, and it splits at the top. Okay? Just like this. Creating a flux capacitor, basically, and a Y shape. Just like that. Okay? They will all do that, actually. At first, it might just go straight up, but after time, it starts to separate up into the sky, and you see this ancient letter, Vav. That is not the letter Y. You could say it's the modern letter Y, but it's actually the ancient number 6, and is actually the ancient letter Vav. The anode and cathode will also split, not as high up, but in similar fashion, and you'll have 3 of these. This creates Vav, Vav, Vav in the ancient Phoenician form, or Paleo-Hebrew. That's 666, okay? Just so you know. That's also the 3 crosses that were on Calvary. This middle one would act as Jesus. The positive and the negative being the good, or the repentant sinner, and the non-repentant sinner, the criminal, thief, or whatever it was. Oh, Atlas. So this is Atlas, okay? Okay, now hold on, let me go back. There's an apex dome at the top. So our firmament goes up, and then it droops down right in the middle, and then it continues on just like that. Okay? So I'm just going to draw you a rudimentary drawing of the firmament itself. This is the apex dome up here. So we have the beam shoots up, spreading its arms, shooting up, spreading its arms. This comes up out of Rupus Nigra, aka Mount Meru. This becomes Atlas, who is seen as holding up this circle in the sky, which is what people interpret it as like a planet or Nibiru or the moon or the earth or whatever. It's Atlas, okay? Atl. Like the name for the South American god Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl. Serpent, right? Feathered serpent. So Atl, serpentine, which is akin to plasma. Okay, not a snake. Serpents are plasma. They are not snakes. They're not the same thing whatsoever. There's an association because they look similar in nature. They look like filaments. But Atl is plasma. And this is why this is the location of Atlantis, basically, right? The land of Atl. Anyways, 3I Atlas, right? The OS or AS or OZ or whatever just means strong plasma, strong Atl, etc. All right, cool. Good to go? Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, cool. Let's move on. What's next? Oh yeah, the cracker barrel. Cracker. They should just call it cracker barrel. Cracker barrel. Anyways, I think all that stuff's hilarious. Oh yeah, the comet. So, is it a comet? Or is it an alien spacecraft? Let me tell you right now, it's not an alien spacecraft. Okay, there's no such thing as alien spacecrafts. If you mean something that can get through the dome, there's no such thing. From my opinion, okay? There's no craft, there's no physical object that just comes through miles of ice that acts as the firmament above us. This is a closed system. Okay? NASA academics, professors, they will all tell you the Earth is a closed system. If that's true, you can't escape. Period. It's closed. That's why it's called a closed system. There's no getting out. There's no coming in. There is no gravity keeps some stuff in and therefore it's sort of like no, it's not a closed system if that's your perspective.
Obscure bright object in space is fast approaching us. NASA has been keeping an eye on this with multiple telescopes, and it says the object is coming from another planetary system.
Time out. Does that look like an object or does that look like a light? This is where the UFO community goes nuts. They see a light in the sky and they go, look at that object. It's got a propulsion system. Look how fast it's going. It must have brakes, and like they just let their mind wander, man.
It is the third of its kind discovered just within the last decade.
But one Harvard scientist isn't ruling out the possibility, emphasis on possibility, that it could be of alien intelligence.
Oh, the possibility that it could be an alien intelligence. How about the possibility that it could be a light in the sky? How about that?
C10's Oscar Margain joins us from the newsroom. So, Oscar, is this a comet or is this a spacecraft?
Well, the Harvard physicist I spoke with says that time will tell. Now, this topic really got me wanting to go down a rabbit hole, and I'm using these virtual reality goggles to take you with me to a different kind of space.
Okay, this should be interesting. So he's gonna talk about they're trying to get you psyched up for the whole alien invasion thing so that people can come together and we got to defend ourselves against the alien, and therefore we all need to be on the same team, and we're led by the government, so we all need to be very patriotic and do what the government says so that we can come together. Either that or you're one of those hateful alien people supporters, etc. The concept that, listen, by the time the dome opens up, there will be alien humanoids and monstrous insectoids and animal types and stuff that do come in from the other side of the dome that just float on down. Those are the aliens, but they're not coming until the dome opens. And there will also be inner Earth aliens that come up out of cavernous systems, especially a lot of insects, gigantic insects. Ugh. Anyways, that's when you worry about aliens. Okay, before that, whatever is in here is in here. There are inner Earth terrestrial beings, interterrestrials right now. Right? There's Bigfoots, there's dogmen, there's all kinds of wild people and stuff.
Hey, pretty cool, right? Okay, so...
No, not pretty cool. That's stupid, actually, but go ahead.
Where was I? Oh, yeah, the spacecraft or comet. Take a look over here. This is one of NASA's models showing what is known as 3I Atlas. The agency says that this interstellar object is plunging towards our sun at 130,000 miles per hour. NASA says it's the fastest...
130,000 miles per hour. Wow.
This interstellar
so it's light.
object recorded entering our solar system. All right,
listen, let me explain something. They're saying it's entering into our solar system. If there's a dome above us, then the light is simply getting bigger and bigger. That's it. Right? Just like the sun does, just like the moon does.
We're back to reality and explain this further. Old school style here with a whiteboard. So 3I...
Now he's using a virtual whiteboard that looks like a real whiteboard. This is just, that's an omen in and of itself. This is mind-blowing to me. How times have changed so quickly.
Atlas gets its name because it's the third interstellar object captured by scientists on July 1st. Since then, they've been...
Wrong. That's not correct at all. It's the third interstellar object. What does that have to do with Atlas? Why are you naming these stellar objects after myths and legends of antiquity? There's obviously a connection.
Able to estimate the size of this thing to be as small as the length.
From images, we also saw that this object is active, which means that around the nucleus there is some coma, which is an indication that this object is in fact a comet.
All right, so NASA says this is a comet, but let me show you this image taken by the Hubble Space Telescope in late July.
Now here's the problem as he's going to put it forth. There's light in front of the comet, okay? And I've brought this up many times before. If it's moving in this direction, you can't have like debris in front of it. If this is the source, if it's one of those giant snowball space slushies, the debris must be behind it. If that's what they're saying it is, and that's what creates the quote unquote coma. You cannot have debris in front of it. You can't. Stop it. It's a chromatic aberration. It's a light. It is out of focus. It's a star out of
See
focus.
the light that is radiating? Now, a Harvard scientist says there's something unusual about that.
It shows a glow ahead of the object, not behind it. If it were a standard comet, we would expect some dust to be shed off the surface of the object.
Isn't that exactly what we discussed? Right? That's the Harvard guy who paid $400,000 for an education he could have got at the library or on the internet or just simply thinking about it through common sense. We already discussed comets. We discussed the ones that glow all around. We discussed all that stuff. And this guy's like, oh, it cannot be a comet because there's debris that goes in front of the comet. It cannot happen. It does not make any sense to me. Hold on, let me listen to that again.
If it were a standard comet, we would expect some dust to be shed off the surface of the object.
If it were a standard comet, we would expect to have the dust behind it. Okay, yes, good job, Harvard. Damn, thank you for studying for 12 years to share that with us. I appreciate it. Let's move on. In South Australia, it says, we're trying to call on everybody that we can. South Australia scrambles to fight its pulsating algal bloom. I told you guys about this, right? Southern Australia. It's got a massive, massive algal bloom. Algae, right? Bacteria. Phytoplankton. State considers its options to control it. It's leaving beaches littered with dead seaweed and dead sea life. Let's check out this video about it. I want to see this. So you see that is a dead fish just right there in the green water. That's because the green water, the water is getting hotter. It's sucking out. It's spewing out oxygen. When water gets hot, it will get rid of the oxygen. All the things that breathe the oxygen will start to suffocate and die. Some of those will stay in the water, and bacteria and all the nasty stuff and bottom feeders will come and eat it. And then that will proliferate. It will turn the water green, and that will block out more of the sunlight. And it's just this domino effect where the waters are turning green, then they start releasing neurotoxins that screw up the minds of the sea life and the humans that are near the oceans. Let's see what's next. Meet Eagle. This one's interesting. I'm going to slam on the moon. I hope you're ready. Meet Eagle, the lunar rover, being designed and tested in Colorado for future astronaut missions. That's funny. It's funny that you think there's going to be a future astronaut mission to the moon. There's not. Golden-based company Lunar Outpost is one of the 3 companies competing for NASA's selection of U.S. focuses on human exploration in space. Wow, that was a mouthful. There are no humans in space, okay? You allegedly have humans in lower Earth orbit, which is just up there in the sky, about 60 miles under the dome. There's no humans in space. There's no going beyond the dome. There's no far reaches of space or any of that crap. Hold on. Didn't they have like a word in here I wanted to look up? No. Hold on 1 second. Let me look this up. Era. I think it's in this video. They mentioned the Apollo era. That really kind of triggered me when they talk about the quote-unquote. Let's watch this video together. Let's check this out. So here's the new moon car, allegedly. They're going to drive it around Colorado to test it out because, you know, Colorado is the Earth is so similar to the moon because it is the moon. Anyways, let's check this out.
At the Colorado State Fair, fun grows from the ground up. Whether it's the thrill of the Midway or the pride of...
It is a commercial. All right, hold on. Let me check the chat while that plays. Pulsating, says Nancy Ross. Ooh, I got some fire from Roddy Pay guy. Roddy Pennsylvania guy? Is that what that is? Lex138, good to see you. All right, let's jump back to see if it's back. I think I clicked on the wrong thing. I did! So, don't talk yet. Hold on, don't talk yet. It's not your turn. Where is that article? Oh, here we go. Man, we haven't even gotten to the radioactive shrimp garbage. Is this it?
We're the only Colorado TV station invited to check out a test of what could be the next lunar rover for astronauts on the moon. And it's all happening right here.
Time out. There are no astronauts on the moon. Okay? So they're already going to the car that will be for the astronauts that will go to the moon. There's no astronauts going to the moon. There never were any astronauts going to the moon, but whatever. You're free to think whatever you like.
Here in Colorado.
That's one small step for man.
You see what they did there?
One giant leap for mankind.
Or should we say one giant leap for Colorado?
This would be the first flagship civil space program run out of Colorado.
Meet the Eagle, a lunar terrain vehicle, or LTV, being developed and tested for astronauts on the moon right here in the Centennial State.
Colorado is the perfect place for a company like Lunar Outpost. It's the largest per capita concentration of aerospace talent in the United States.
The company behind the project, Lunar Outpost, is based in Golden with 150 employees scattered across Colorado and the globe.
Hurry
up. The
up.
good news is we've already been to the moon and we're going to go back no matter what.
They've been building lunar rovers since 2017
I can't even hear this, dude.
and operated their first rover on the moon.
I can't hear this in my headset. That's why. Let me fix this because I need to respond. Hold up. Let me rewind that just a bit.
The news is we've already been to the moon and we're going to go back no matter what.
We've already been to the moon. We're going to go back no matter what. We haven't gone anywhere, pal. You definitely have not gone to the moon. There is no we. You're rooting for your favorite team and claiming to be on. You're projecting yourself onto other people. There is no we. There is no mankind went to the moon. There is no humanity went to the moon. There is no men that went to the moon. There are no women that went to the moon. The moon is a hologram. It's a projection. According to the Bible, which is like allegedly believed in by a great majority of the Earth's population, it says it's a light, not a rock, not a planet, not a world. It's a projection of an actual physical object, which is the firmament, which is why the moon is white, because the firmament is ice. Anyways, we've already went to the moon. Just says that crap so casually. Yeah, when was that? 90 years ago? We went to the moon 90 years ago? All right, let's continue.
They've been building lunar rovers since 2017 and operated their first rover on the moon this past March.
They operated their first rover on the moon this past March. Really? Show me that. Let me see that. Well, they got a rocket blasting off. Maybe they'll show it. Okay, there's a rocket.
But unfortunately, that first mission didn't go quite as we hoped.
The lander carrying their rover landed on its side, but Lunar
Oh, there's a picture. That's all we get. A picture that definitely cannot be photoshopped, definitely cannot be manipulated. They're definitely in a large crater because the horizon is bent inwards like that. Why is the Earth so tiny? Oh my god. Anyways, this is your picture, allegedly picture. Meanwhile, on Mars, 2 million miles away, they have 4K videos, helicopters, cars. They can land things perfectly.
Post still able to gather data, calling it a success. Now,
of course, they're going to call it a success. It's crap. There's nothing on the moon. You can't even land on the moon. There's nothing up there. Like, listen, you need to think about and reconcile all this advanced achievements and technology with Mars, and then compare that to what the fudge we have with the moon. Okay? The moon is like PlayStation 1. The Mars is like PlayStation 6 when it comes out. Okay? That's how different the technology is, which is backwards. Because the moon, last I checked, is first when you leave the Earth, allegedly, according to the academic system, right? And Mars is like way further away, isn't it?
Set on some bigger missions, 3 companies competing for NASA selection.
Where we are right now in the story, those 3 companies have finished phase 1. Only one company, maybe 2, is going to win phase 2.
And their lunar testing facility on a remote ranch near Rye in southern Colorado.
You have hills, you have cliffs, you have dusty areas.
Yeah, just like the moon, where there's cliffs. Are there cliffs on the moon? Okay, you got hills. It's perfect. There's not a lot of hills in other places, just in Colorado. You know, it's perfect.
I'm riding in the Lunar rover right now. They can go up to 25 kilometers per hour. We're not going quite that fast, but we're
Oh, they can go 25 kilometers per hour. Very nice. Good job. On the moon. Hit a bump and it's gone.
testing its capability going through craters, over rocks and hills, things you might see on the moon's surface.
You might see that on the moon's surface. However, you won't see that on the moon's surface because the moon, the thing you see in the sky, has no surface. Okay? It's a glowing plasma. It's a hologram. It's a projection of the apex dome of the firmament.
For this test, we're on 2 versions of the Eagle. I'm riding in Raven, and the newer, sleeker model is called Falcon. And those tires won't be the ones on the moon.
But it shows the impacts and how the tire can absorb the impact. So it really is a cool material.
Partners Goodyear
The impact of what? Dust? Like, allegedly, there's just like 6 feet of frickin' dust on the surface of the moon.
a kind of metal mesh alloy to handle lunar day and night. Lunar Outpost also able to remotely control the vehicles from their mission control in Arvada, Colorado.
Oh, they can control the vehicles that they have in Colorado from mission control, which is in Colorado. That's a lot different than controlling a remote control drone on Mars 2 million miles away from Earth. Okay? Let me replay this part. Think about what they're saying here.
Alloy to handle lunar day and night. Lunar Outpost also able to remotely control the vehicles from their mission control in Arvada, Colorado.
Why don't you try remote controlling them from frickin' Australia? You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to test everything out properly, the moon is like 200,000 miles away. Why don't you like remote control it with your Atari joystick from Australia to Colorado? Tell me how that goes. And then explain Mars.
Okay, with that target point, I'm going to start with the go, no go, starting with navigator.
Which is how they'll control it on the moon when the astronauts aren't driving.
When the astronauts are not driving, why wouldn't the astronauts be driving? They're just going to sit there.
This year, President...
Look at this guy. He looks like he's got a fish mouth. You know how fish do that? Like, that's what his mouth reminds me of. He's like a fish person. And look at all these idiots clapping.
Trump's proposed budget request cuts NASA's funding by over 24%.
Cut NASA's funding all the way. They're doomsday preppers. They're getting ready to just abandon you all, leave you during the apocalypse, and they're using the rest of that money to build deep underground survival bunkers for the family members who are staying. So, cut their funding. They're not going to be opening their doors during the apocalypse to help you out. Cut all that funding. Stop giving them money. They're not earning it. They're not working for it. They're lying to you and telling you that they're fixing the potholes.
Fiscal year. Congress has the final say, but a silver lining...
This is boring. Let's move on to the next one. All right. FDA expands the recall of potentially radioactive shrimp. This article has a subtitle that says the seafood products were recalled due to potential exposure to cesium-137 radioactivity in the ocean. The seafood. Let's talk about the word food real quick. Let me just give you a reminder. Because you put something into your mouth and swallow it does not mean it's food. Okay? Can we agree? Okay? It means you ate something, but that does not mean it is nutritious. These are bugs. That's why they have to keep them frozen. They're bottom feeders and they're full of diseases. If you thaw these out for like longer than a couple hours or whatever, they become extremely dangerous and they will make you sick. They will turn your skin and eyes yellow like a frickin' Sith Lord from Star Wars. Furious TV just gave me a donation. Allow me to say thank you. Hold on, let me turn on my phone here. It's easier. I don't want to lose the page. Who is that? Oh, I got a couple donations. Furious TV. Got an idea of what they are doing with all the money they steal from the population? Because it's a lot. I mean, the people at the top. Chris Holmes. Oh my God. I didn't even see that. Thank you, Chris. High five to both of you guys. Yeah, money doesn't even exist. Your money. You are the money, okay? They pretend like the paper is the money. The paper represents your actions and what you're doing and your energy and where you're putting it into. It's your currency. It's your current. It's your flow. It's where you're going and where you've been and stuff. You're the currency, not the paper. So what are they doing with the currency? What are they doing with you? What are they doing with humanity? They're slaves. You know what I mean? They're making us work for them to put them up in comfy positions. They got us eating freaking bugs, calling it a delicacy. Meanwhile, they're eating real food and developing technology to like re-stimulate their cellular structure of their bodies and live longer and stuff like that. They're onto some deep stuff, man. They just pass us scraps. I love how Kimberly F always thanks people in the chat who send super chats and donations and stuff. What's up, Boston Ray Mudflood Adventures? I see you in the chat. All right, let's continue on. Wow, thank you again. Hold on, who's that? Chris Holmes, $50. Damn. And a Voltron hippo or something. Thank you. Man. All right, let's continue on. Oh yeah, radioactive bugs. Shrimp. They're bugs. Fudge. I'm not even going to call them shrimp. They're bugs. They're little shrimpy bugs. Jesus, man. If you eat it, whatever. I don't care. Okay? But it's disgusting. All right, next up. Rangers clear thousands of illegal marijuana plants from Sequoia National Park. This bugs me. Speaking of bugs. This really bugs me. Where's a picture? We got a picture? Look at all these evil freaking plants, man. Evil. Terrible. Illegal. This is a plant. If you're going to make a plant illegal, why don't you go make a poisonous freaking plant illegal? Why don't you go make poison ivy illegal? Or poison oak? Or poison berries? Or, you know what I mean? Make that illegal. Go tear that crap up. That actually harms people and stuff. These are substances, plants, that have benefits when used wisely. Anything can be screwed up if you use it to an extreme or don't use it properly or the right way. You know what I mean? Butter can mess you up bad if you have too much of it or you overindulge or whatever, right? These are just plants. You're going to make a tree illegal? You're going to make a plant illegal? I don't support this at all. I don't care what it can do. I don't care if it's ayahuasca. I don't care if it's peyote. I don't care if it's marijuana. I'm completely against this garbage of saying that's an evil plant. Are you crazy? Your drugs, your pharmakia, your mixing of like 4,000 different chemicals to get a shortcut to screw up people's brains, in the long run, their entire families, and create diseases. Those are evil mixtures. You take plants and you chop them up and you divide the roots and you screw people up royally and then you sell it in a store that's literally called a store for drugs. Like what you're trying to call these. These are not drugs. These are plants, stupids. They're plants. You literally have stores called drug stores where people deal you drugs. They sell drugs at the drug store. Oh my God, like, what a revelation. Satanic ass world, man. Let's hear what this dumbass has to say about it.
We're looking at reclassification and we'll make a determination over the next few weeks. And that determination hopefully will be the right one. It's a very complicated subject, the subject of marijuana. I've heard great things having to do with
Is it though? Is it complicated? He says, I've heard great things having to do with medicine.
And I've had bad things having to do with just about everything else.
Just about everything else, my ass? What are you talking about? What bad thing have you ever heard? Except for propaganda, right? I've heard good things. I've heard good things about the medical application of it. Every part of it is medical. Even if a person is enjoying themselves while they're high from marijuana or whatever, it's still medical. Just because they're having a good time at the same time doesn't mean it's no longer medical. It is medical. That's what it is for, pal. And I don't care about what kind of bad things you allegedly heard. This is not alcohol. This is not actual over-the-counter prescription medicine that can seriously screw you up, that has warnings on it telling you not to drive or operate heavy machinery and stuff. Like, this is stuff that chills people out, that does not make them violent, that makes them want to just like enjoy life. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always anomalies and exceptions, okay? Like, you can overdose and smoke yourself to sleep and then wake up the next day, I guess. I don't know. But what kind of crap is he talking about? The federal government classifies marijuana as a Schedule 1 drug. Listen, let me classify it for you. I'm going to reclassify marijuana. It's a plant. Period. That's it. It's a plant. Stop it. It's just a plant. Furious TV, again in the chat. Oh, thank you. Says, why are they making all media worse? Movies, video games, firing everyone everywhere, especially, sorry to say it like this, but firing and almost banning mostly Caucasian people from all the jobs lately. That was a lot to address, but the media is getting worse because we're at the end of time. At the end of time, before our timekeeping, at the end of our timekeeping, I should say, okay? At the end of our timekeeping, we've exhausted all the ideas. There's nothing new under the sun. They just start repeating themselves over and over. Innovation comes to an all-time low, okay? And eventually, the only thing they'll be able to talk about is the apocalypse. Once they've rehashed the past over and over and over from every single angle, there will be nothing else but to face the inevitable. And every movie and all over the news, you'll see signs of the apocalypse. I'm just giving you a jump start. Thank you so much for your donation. All right, let's continue on. Yeah, this is about the glowing entity in Antarctica. What's the title here? We can't believe our eyes. NASA scientists, whoever they are, shocked as giant ocean creature. That's an omen. There will be giant ocean creatures once more. There used to be giant ocean creatures called monsters, sea monsters, all over the place. You can see them, you can read about them all throughout the Dark Ages. Visible from space raises alarming threats from China. NASA's recent detection of a vast, glowing phytoplankton. Plankton is bad, okay? In abundance, and that much, it's bad. A phytoplankton bloom off of Australia's southern coast has captivated scientists and the public alike, highlighting the intricate interplay of marine ecosystems visible from space. Damn, I got over 400 people watching right now. You see that? That's cool. High five. All right. So yeah, illustration of a illustration of a bioluminescent phytoplankton bloom captured by NASA satellites off of Australia's southern coast. Isn't that confusing? They make it sound like it's a photograph. It's not. It's just a drawing. But this is an artist's concept of what it might look like, right? In a nutshell, NASA satellites captured a stunning turquoise glow off of Australia's coast, revealing a massive phytoplankton bloom. The bloom was first documented by NASA's PACE spacecraft, showcasing its seasonal nature in the Great Australian Bight. High concentrations of chlorophyll cause the glow, as phytoplankton thrive in the nutrient-rich ocean's photic zone. Jeez, man, that's hard to understand. This phenomenon supports a rich marine ecosystem. That means death and decay that other animals will come in to eat, and then larger animals like whales will come in to eat those animals. Okay, this is a falling apart of the dominoes, attracting blue whales and a variety of sea life. Now they're trying to put a beautiful spin on it, when in reality, this is a huge omen of the apocalypse. All right, let's continue on. What's this next article? This is a video.
This was recorded by police cameras minutes after the crater first appeared along the shoulder of the road in Wharton. Look, it lines up right there with the line. Repairs have been going on since then. 2 lanes headed eastbound reopen this next week. 2 lanes going westbound reopen at the end of the month, and everything is supposed to be back to normal by the end of June.
So, sinkholes, Holes opening up across the world. I could show you this one article and you'd be like, oh, that's interesting. But then if I show you another one, and then I show you another one, and I show you another one, all happening within the same couple months, and then I show you more and bigger ones all across the world, and I start to put together all these massive amounts of puzzle pieces to sinkholes opening up in the world, and the world's surface literally just caving in and falling in everywhere across countries, across the world. Now it's way more than just, that's interesting. Now it's a sign. Now it is an omen that the world is going through an unbelievable shift into an apocalyptic event. Holes opening up into Hades, into the inner earth, into Tartarus. Like, it's portals to hell. I mean, figuratively speaking, right? But this is happening everywhere. These portals that are opening up. They really hate that I have an ad blocker. That pisses these websites off. Large sinkhole appears in English village and forces evacuations. You see that? Let's check that out. Oh, well, there's no audio. But as you can see, gigantic sinkhole in England. What else we got here? Check this one out. Let me jump out of the way for this one.
There's nothing they can do, Devin.
It's an unbelievable sight. Cars literally collapsing into the ground as the ground beneath them gives way near...
Hold on. Let me just correct her so that you guys don't learn from their mistakes. She said cars literally collapsing into the ground. They're not literally collapsing into the ground. They are actually collapsing into the ground. They are physically collapsing into the ground. Literal things are spoken or read. Okay? So they're not literally doing anything. Let's help each other out, shall we? With our vocabulary. I'm here for you. That's all. Let's see.
Front Street in Ventura.
It was just a very loud and all of a sudden crash. We live right next to a train station, so initially I thought it was something like that.
Dylan Peterson says he couldn't believe what he saw out of his window.
I see both of the cars rolling down. I see this giant sinkhole just all crumbling down, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. Okay. So, we don't need to beat a dead horse here. Holes are opening up in the ground across the world. Sinkholes, massive ones. Where are they coming from? Why are they happening? It's not because of water lines that are rupturing and breaking or whatever. Sometimes. But it's from gas. Damn, I'm gonna have to skip that one. It's from gas. It's from gases being released within the earth. That's huge right now. All right, let me check out what these guys are gonna say. These monkey suit wearing. Let me see what they got.
Of luxury apartments in downtown Ventura.
At least 3 vehicles in a shed toppled into the hole, but no one was hurt. KTLA's Chris Wolf in Ventura for us tonight, where there are reports that there were signs of trouble before that sinkhole opened up. Chris.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Micah and Sandy. It is the talk of the town tonight, and now you are getting an up-close look at this sinkhole and landslide, and I can tell you locals have some theories as to what's happening here. They say a luxury apartment building is going into this lot right behind us. However, the ground is wet and unstable and starting to collapse on the sides, and that caused part of a nearby business and some vehicles to get swallowed up.
Oh, wow.
The earth is crumbling in Ventura. The man who recorded...
No, the earth is crumbling everywhere. All over the place. They're showing you one example, so you think it's some local event. This is happening the world across right now. And they're like, locals have theories as to what's going on and how it's happening and why it's happening. Let's see what this chick
You have
says.
Chopper 3 that was up earlier over Hainesport, New Jersey. This is Route 38 westbound, where a sinkhole because of heavy rain has totally shut down the shoulder and it's creeping into that right lane. So
let me talk about this rain theory, okay? Yeah, rain, water, I mean, it rains all the time, okay, in different places. It's not just rain. It is rain that is loosening up the ground. And it is the gases that are being released which spread out the inner Earth cavernous areas and allow for that heavier rainfall and stuff like that to push on the looser materials, and then it collapses in to those cavernous systems. It has everything to do, oftentimes, with these gases.
Crews shut down the right lane that leaves only the left lane for drivers to get past. So going to the traffic maps, we have Route 38 westbound.
By the way, hold on. Speaking of traffic, that's another omen in my own personal life. Okay.
To the traffic maps,
hold on.
we have Route that leaves only the left.
Listen, earlier today, I'm just going to share something personal. Okay. Pretend this sinkhole is a car, and there was a lady fixing her flat tire off to the side of the road exactly like this. I'm in this lane, traveling this way, and because this lady is literally on the side of the road, parked next to like a house, okay, in a clear parking space, she took out cones. She took out one of those reflector signs that you open up and stuff, and she put it in the middle of the street in this lane, shutting down the lane herself to, like, you know, because she's changing a tire. And the car in front of me slammed on its brakes, stopped. Nobody knows what's going on. There's no like sign or arrow telling you to change lanes. I almost smashed into this car, and my son is in the car with me. So I circled back around. I parked right behind where this lady was. I picked up her cones. I tossed them onto the sidewalk. I picked up the sign thing. I tossed that onto the sidewalk. I said, I said, are these yours? She goes, oh yeah, someone told me I should, you know, put them out there. I'm like, don't do that. You're not a construction worker. You're not a cop. You don't get to just shut down an entire lane of traffic because you're off here to the side, parked in a legal parking spot, changing your tire. Well, I thought I could do that. I'm like, you can't do that. Don't ever do that again. Anyways, that's just a little side note, okay? All right, what else? Windsor Mill residents concerned for children's safety after a large sinkhole forms in the street. The earth is swallowing up stuff, too. This reminds me of the movie Superman. This happened in Superman,
much to the
too.
relief of neighbors, a Baltimore City DPW crew is now on the scene. They will be repairing an 8-inch water main break that left neighbors dry and worried about this large sinkhole in the middle of the street.
Okay, well, boring. Anyways, more sinkholes opening up. Let's see what else we got. There's another sinkhole opening up. I mean, I could pull up hundreds and hundreds of sinkhole pictures from around the world. What's this next one say? Confirmed. NASA accidentally photographed South Korea's Danuri spacecraft while it was orbiting the moon, creating a unique and unrepeatable image. Ta-da! Now, underneath this picture, there's nothing even insinuating that this is Photoshop or this is a pretend image. But shall we look a bit closer? Can I zoom into this? Can I? I want to make this as big as possible. Do you see the Earth? Do you see that? This is mind-blowing to me. Wow, the people are sheep, man. Anyways, let's head over. I want to switch gears. I want to check out World of Signs YouTube channel. I did reach out to them personally. They gave me permission to share some of their work. The whole channel is about the omens of the apocalypse from my perspective. I mean, it's called World of Signs. And he captures all these videos. He goes and scours the internet for some of the best examples of these omens I've ever seen. So check this out. Look at this windstorm. Look at that crap flying past. Now listen, I believe that the winds are going to become more and more turbulent as the sun heats up more and more, because the sun is what creates like the jet stream and stuff. We went over that during the last presentation when we talked about cosmology and stuff. But when the sun heats up, the focal point up there in the sky, and it moves across the world, it's going to leave spirals and trails of wind. And they'll get stronger and stronger as the sun increases in temperature. And we experience stuff like this down here on the surface. Also, because it's so hot, it's going to evaporate more water as it travels over the oceans and lakes and stuff, which means you have more vapor in the air, which is going to mix with the winds and stuff, and you get huge hurricane systems and, you know, weather patterns and stuff. Here's another one, liquefaction. So all the earth just falling in on itself, like we talked about with the sinkholes and stuff. See what else we got here. Here's more liquefaction, basically, more flooding and stuff. What else we got? More avalanches, right? These are the mountains melting, in essence, on a small scale. More melting. Melting doesn't have to mean like burning, just so you know, okay? It's a way of saying dissolving in the ancient world. And I believe that that's probably a bad translation, biblically speaking. Anyways, lots more tornadoes, right? Dust devils. I recorded one of these. I think I posted one of these when I went to my Arizona trip on my Patreon. So if you want to see me almost driving through one of these on my way to Arizona, I saw like a bunch of them actually. There was one nearby and there was like a bunch in the distance, like 5 or 6 of those huge dust tornadoes. So way more tornadoes are happening lately. And then I got this other one from World of Signs. The increased activity of our electricity in the skies. Remember when lightning just used to be a like it flashed? Check out what lightning does now with the increased pressure in the atmosphere and the more gases that are being contributed to the atmosphere from the ocean and the inner earth. You see that? How it just stays? How it like lingers? How it's no longer just like a flash of light? It does crap like... I have this on 2 times the speed, just so you know, okay? I watch my YouTube videos on 2 times the speed always. Here's another omen of the apocalypse. Rainbows out of place. Rainbows up in the sky out of place. Clouds that become rainbow colored. Strange rainbows being seen all over the place. Rainbow is the last color, which is all of the colors that is seen before the apocalypse is ushered in. Our whole world goes through a color spectrum shift. The sky did not used to be blue. The ocean didn't used to be described as blue. It used to be described as wine dark or purplish or green sometimes, which is about to return to being green again. But yeah, all this return of these rainbow skies, this is unprecedented. You only are supposed to see stuff like that if you're in the far north, beyond the Arctic Circle. Sprites. These are literally sprites that are seen being captured in the atmosphere. Lots of flooding. Let's see what else we got here. The earth falling apart. Dust storms, huge dust storms as those winds are kicking up more and more dust. More tornadoes, more dust tornadoes. Massive storms too. It like over here in my neck of the woods, it literally has rained for like 3 or 4 days straight. When normally we would have a storm blow in, it hangs out for a couple hours and then it's gone and it's a sunny day. Like the weather usually changes here quickly. But here in Colorado where I live, but this weather, it's like it dumped water. It didn't rain, it dumped water earlier today. Like it was like buckets and pails were being dumped onto my car as I was driving about. All right, I think that's about it. Is that about it? Yeah, flooding. All right, cool. That is pretty much it. So, if you're interested in these topics and you want to see more, you can go visit my Patreon. If you'd like to support my work, you can go visit my Patreon, or you can just, donate to my PayPal. I don't know if I have a link for that, but it's like paypal.me/JayDreamerZ, I think. If you want to support me, right? This is my work. This is my job. And you guys and your donations and your views and sharing and all that stuff allows me to keep doing it. And I'm honored and I'm humbled. Thank you. And I'm happy and I'm excited because I love what I do. Anyway, go check out my website, JayDreamerZ.com. A lot of people leave great reviews all the time. People tell me there's so much information on there that, they've been members for over a year, some people over 2 years and 3 years, and they still haven't read it all. There's lots of visual examples of the plasma apocalypse, our ancient Oblivion, and my books for sale, along with merch and stuff like that. So check out my Patreon, check out my website, JayDreamerZ.com, and until next time, I'm JayDreamer saying good vibes and goodbye.
In a time when an ancient cataclysm is about to return, one book holds the key to unlocking the biggest secret in all of history. JayDreamerZ presents Ancient Oblivion, the Plasma Apocalypse. Study it, and you'll discover the very real details behind the reoccurring event that resets civilizations and reshapes the entire world, bridging the gap between fiction and fact. This book is a must-have for all truth seekers. Then in his second book, you'll learn about the one place of refuge from this world storm. You'll explore the ends of the earth, find the fountain of youth, and envision yourself enveloped in the vapor canopy. In Ancient Oblivion, Return to Hyperborea. Available now. Order direct from JayDreamerZ and receive your very own autographed copy. Go to JayDreamerZ.com for more information on our Ancient Oblivion and the Plasma Apocalypse, and sign up for a free 24-hour cram session with a complimentary day pass. The end is near, so order now before it's too late.
But something's forcing me to stay. It'd be easier on me if I turn away to flee. But there's something holding on in the way of being long gone. There's so many ways to escape, but I guess it's time to wake up, time to wake up. Find so many ways to escape, but I guess it's time to wake up, time to wake I'll try so hard to fade away, but something's forcing me to stay. It'd be easier for me if I turn away to flee. But there's something holding on in the way of being long gone. There's so many ways to escape, but I guess it's time to wake up, time to wake up. Far too many ways to escape, but I guess it's time to wake up, time to wake up. Time to wake up, time to wake up.